Now in today's video, let's talk about a plane that doesn't have the best reputation. Or at least that's the way to put it. Yes, right in front of us we have the Yakovlev Yak 40. Well, pretty much anyone I ask says that this plane sucks. So I decided to make a video about this plane today. You know, just fly it and talk about why it sucks or why it might actually not suck. But more on that later. And yeah, let's do that. Now the plane came out in 1966. It is quite old. In fact, it was one of the first of its kind. Yes, it was the first commuter trijet, which I don't know what that really means, but it is a regional plane. And it was quite an early jet. Back in the 1966, regional jets were not that much of a thing. And that is when the Yak 40 came into play. Now, even though this plane is pretty damn old, it still flies today in 2020. There are like 3 airlines that still use it after it being around for like 60 years or something, which is pretty damn cool. Yeah, this plane was actually quite successful. 1,011 of these were built, which is really not bad. So this aircraft definitely did work. Now obviously, as you can hear out by the name of Yakovlev, this plane is Russian, or technically Soviet. Yeah, back in the 1960s, the Soviet Union was still a thing. And the primary user of this plane was Russia itself, or Ukraine. As you can see, we have an old Aeroflot livery here. Aeroflot has been around for quite some years, and so has this plane. Now this is the cockpit of the plane. As you can see, it's pretty damn dark, but that is because of the simulator. I don't know why that is. All the cockpits are dark to the point that I'm actually about to use the night vision goggles, because these actually help. You can definitely see things better now. Yeah, this cockpit does look like a regular plane cockpit from the 1960s. You only have steam gauges, no screens technically. I mean, you have this Garmin 430 here or something, but other than that, we only have steam gauges here. Even though this cockpit is not very complicated, I've seen worse ones, especially from the Soviet Union. I have seen more complicated cockpits. Now this is the cabin. As you can see, this is really just a very short regional airliner after all. Not that much space, not that many seats. This plane could seat like, I don't know, like 30 passengers, I don't know. This plane was also used a lot as a VIP transport private plane, so you could buy the Yak 40 as a private jet. You obviously would have a lot better of an interior design than this one, but the plane was flyable, and I mean it still is. We got a menu. Actually, in real life, the plane is all in Russian, even the cockpit, which can be a little scary. Here we have an English version of it, so that I can at least read the cockpit, which can be a pretty nice one. Oh, this is not a very good sound, is it? Even though I do not really know how to turn these engines on. Alright, come on. Let's just go full power and see what happens. Let's hope we can take off. I see that I have no control of the airplane, so it's just gonna fly itself. Am I right? Yeah, let's just hope that I can get this bird to fly, whatever. It does roll, which is good. We do have no steering, but no rudder control, nor aileron, no elevator control. Oh, we have lost all of our engines now. Something funky's going on here. That was the plane in real life too. It was pretty reliable, but there were some accidents, you can say that. Yes, 10% of all Yakovlev Yak 40s actually crashed. Yes, 1,000 were built, 120 crashed. In fact, more than 800 people died on Yak 40s. So it might sound like it makes sense to hate the Yak 40. And oh my goodness. Right, we have a serious water flying situation. That is not good. Maybe I can get the AI to fly the aircraft. Alright, there we go. For example, this plane could operate at some very interesting and short and unpaved even runways. Also in poor weather, which was pretty common on all these old planes. They were a lot more reliable and could operate at more places, I would say. You know, back in the 60s, there were not as many airports as there are today. So it does make sense. Yeah, something is really not right with this plane. What the hell am I gonna do now? That is the thing. This is actually a pretty nice add-on plane for X-Plane, but it just doesn't work. To start off with it, the yoke doesn't work, so even if I could get it to fly, it would not really stay under control because I do not have control of it, and we're dead. So I'm pretty much limited in what I can do. Something that I can try is taking off on the longest runway that there is, and see, eventually the plane has gotta come off the ground, right? You know, modern software problems require modern software solutions. Now, welcome to Edwards Air Force Base. That one is in California, and it has the longest runway that you can find, pretty much. Yes, this is a 30,000 feet runway. Compared to our plane, that is quite a bit. Let's hope that it's enough for our plane to somehow get some liftoff action going. Okay, so we do have throttle control, but again, no yoke at all, pretty much. But let's see. We can get the flaps out. All right, these three engines, they are quite loud. They produce quite a sound. That's basically what this plane is also known for. It was quite a noisy plane, also from the cabin. But actually, I've seen many people like the sound of the aircraft. You know, that can be a good thing, right? And we have lost engines too. That is actually not good. And that really sucks for the whole video, doesn't it? So we cannot even take off on the longest runway, right? So nothing technically works? That is very interesting. I mean, the add-on looks pretty nice, and that is because the plane actually does look kind of nice, I have to say that. It reminds me heavily of the Dassault Falcon jets. You know, the private jets with 3 engines too. This one, actually these look super duper similar. I mean, this one has winglets and all, but other than that, these are pretty much the exact same planes. I mean, this plane is a lot older, which you can also tell by the wings. These are actually not very well developed. These are some typical 50s or 60s type wings, not 100% aerodynamic, but they seemed to work. I mean, not in our case. The airplane is not flying for some reason, but in real life, they did work, which is great, I guess. I mean, overall, this plane has some really cool features. Another cool thing about this plane is actually that all the passengers used to enter through the rear of the aircraft. Not even used to, but they still do, even though I'm not quite sure how to do that here too. It's quite sad. Nothing here works pretty much. Nope, that won't do it either. Even though there is a door on the side, I don't know if that was used or if it was only for emergency purposes, but this does seem like a pretty small door, so maybe not. That is very interesting. Right here we are flying. I mean, honestly, I don't really have control of the aircraft itself, but anyway, let's maybe talk about the interesting part of this aircraft. Oh wow, look how the gear retracts. Okay, only one of the 3 landing gear has come up. That's interesting. And we have entered a steep nosedive. That's not good. Right, so maybe let's talk about why this plane is actually hated so much. Or at least it's not liked very much. I mean, you can obviously say that, and we're about to crash into the ground again. That is a shame, really, because I really kind of do like this aircraft, but others don't. And honestly, I think that's only because of the name of the aircraft, really. I mean, it's called Yakovlev. It's a Russian plane. It came out in the 1960s. 10% of all of these aircraft crashed. Okay, that's actually quite a sad rate, but yeah. So it does kind of make sense that people tend to dislike this aircraft. I mean, not even in the sim, it works. But in this case, you can also say, don't judge a book by its cover. Or in this case, by its name. Because this aircraft was pretty excellent, really. It was pretty reliable. Unless it crashed, then it was not reliable. Or here in X-Plane, in this case, it's not reliable either. Even though it does fly upside down really well. That's interesting. I mean, I don't know. Oh, goodness. It did fly pretty specially, and there is a reason that there are still quite many Yak 40s flying around still. What the hell is the plane doing now? This plane is obviously reliable enough. I mean, not right now because it's crashing all the time, but normally it is. So yeah, all we can say is that the Yakovlev Yak 40 is actually better than some people think, and from the passenger side, it is quite well to enjoy a flight on this one. Yeah, now we can get a better view at the cabin. This plane is decent enough, so why not? I mean, right now it is getting outdated, and eventually it's gonna be time to replace it, but not quite yet. The plane still flies very well, and so airlines that need to save money can save money on using this old plane, so why not? And we're about to crash again. I mean, it is very unfortunate that today this add-on plane wouldn't want to fly, but I hope it still served the purpose a bit. And tell me, what do you guys think of this aircraft? Do you think it is bad, or do you think it is good? Would you personally fly on it? But anyway, So yeah guys, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. As always, good night.